With our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. We talk about our sexy dates. We host events and we go to clubs. But most of all we're still in love. It's getting hard for this to rhyme just as well, 'cause it's bad hopping time. It's bad hopping time.
Hello and welcome to the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name is Mr. H.
And I'm Mrs. H.
Thank you for joining us today. We have got an interview lined up for you, but before we talk about that, we're just going to have a general chit chat and see how things are.
I like chit-chatting with you.
Oh, I love chit chat with you too. This is why we do this, because we don't talk to each other at any other point.
No.
So, so you'd believe.
If you want to talk to me, it's got to be under a mic.
This is how it works. And if I need to kiss you, it's got to be underneath some mistletoe or something.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever kissed you under mistletoe.
You definitely have.
Have I?
Yeah.
Have I really?
Yeah. I think we've been together for how many years now?
25.
25 or something years.
26 next in January.
So clearly there must have been a point where we have kissed underneath some mistletoe.
All right. Okay, if you say so.
I think, in fact, I remember someone bringing mistletoe to a club. One of our first club visits.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone...
You might be right, actually.
Yeah, I think you kissed someone else under mistletoe for sure. That sounds about right.
Prove it.
Jacques Hughes' wife, Jacques Hughes. Anyways, thanks for joining us. We thought we'd just waffle on a little bit and give you some preamble before laying up what is a really fun little interview.
What's been going on in our lives?
What has been going... Well, so we're in like a...
I'm in a detox.
Maybe, yeah. It feels like we're in the eye of the storm at the moment.
Ooh,
yeah, and that the weekends
exciting.
past have been busy and weekends coming appear to be busy. But this moment right now appears to be calm, manageable.
Yeah.
We've got control of it. We've been out doing like shopping for our thrifty Shades of Grey event.
I made some progress.
Yeah, you finally got some stuff.
I've got a thrifty outfit. I'm very excited.
The challenge is, I think, like going to thrift stores or, charity shops or whatever, there's lots of stuff for women.
Yeah.
Not so much stuff for men.
Well, there is stuff for men, but it's generally seems to be rejects from like camping stores.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
like I don't need some of that stuff. And it was quite interesting because we visited, I don't know, about 8 or 10 of the buggers yesterday. And none of the men's stuff was appealing in the slightest. So,
but I did all right.
Yeah, you've done all right. And I do have an outfit, but the outfit looks so much like something I'd wear anyway.
Maybe. All right.
So
but isn't that the idea?
Well, kind of, yeah. But I was like, I want something sparkly and awesome and
you always
flashy.
Want something sparkly
yeah, I do.
And awesome and flashy.
So maybe I need to go to like, I don't know, like a gay district somewhere and look at the charity shops there and see what they've inherited. In the assumption that, massive sweeping statement that gay people dress better than straight people.
You want something sparkly, basically.
Yeah, I want to shine as bright as you clearly will when you've got your silver ball gown or whatever it is that you've got on.
I'm very pleased for it.
All that stuff.
Very pleased.
You've done very well on your charity locations. Yeah. So things that we've got coming up. I think we're seeing some friends next weekend.
We are.
As part of our continued sort of movie night things.
Cultural movie nights.
Yes. This has become a fairly regular thing like we mentioned the other day. And this coming up is American Day. Yeah. Yes. America.
So you're challenged to find a sexy American film, right?
Well, so I think...
There's plenty.
So of the three of us watching these movies, two of us have already made a decision on which movie it should be.
I'm going to watch it.
So my recommendation for this one is Showgirls. Now, I have a lot of love for poor Verhoeven.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I particularly do like Showgirls. Now I recognise it is trashy. I recognise that it as a film it is not amazing. But I've got a soft or hard spot for it. I don't know which one.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because it's fun.
My memory of the film is not great because I think I endured it once with you. Just because I know you liked it. I vaguely remember there being a scene in a swimming pool. Am I making that up?
No, that happens probably.
Is there a scene in a swimming pool? And vaguely remember some kind of Ice Cube related thing Is there an Ice Cube related thing?
I think there is, yeah. So, I mean, to be fair, it's been a while since I've seen the film, but I have love for, in the same way that I have love for Starship Troopers, in that I recognise if you take it as a straight-laced, gung-ho action film, it's okay. But if you look behind the curtains a bit and look at what it's trying to do and what it's trying to say, it's actually a really good film.
Is it?
So
all right.
I can only assume that the same is true of Showgirls.
You think it's going to be great?
I think it's going to be an experience.
I shall look forward to critiquing it.
Yes, and now I just need to work out what we're drinking. Tips much appreciated.
American Day's easy. Come on, it's going to be easy.
And food-wise,
yeah, it's going to be easy.
We are reducing a culture down to a couple of items of food, a couple of drinks, and one shit film.
Well, the last one we had was Italian Day.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah.
Very much enjoyed that. And Italian snacks and drinks are amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely in my wheelhouse. And we watched, was it Imama tu Tambien?
Correct. Yeah. And no, that was Spanish Day.
No, that was Spanish Day.
Yeah, we watched Paprika.
Tinto Brass. Paprika.
So that was cool. That was good to watch.
Very titillating.
Yes, very titillating. Now, I have a question for you.
Oh.
Right. Now, not related to this necessarily, just jumping onto a different thing because, me.
Go on then.
Yeah. Now, we had, in the last couple of days, some sexy videos from someone.
Oh, we did.
How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Because we have traditionally steered clear of not receiving, but we've kind of...
You mean pic swaps and stuff?
Yeah, we kind of tend to not worry about that so much. Occasionally there's been a picture of us looking mad and naked. Like, hey, we were in the hot tub.
And naked.
Yeah, or hey, we were at an event, or this is us, and this is what this is our outfit.
But we don't typically share sexy things with people as a visual media, do we?
Yeah, we don't tend to do. In fact, we don't tend to even take that. I mean, it's been a while, I think, since we've taken any sexy pictures. Yeah. So, I mean, I would argue that every picture of you is, of course, sexy, but you would not agree.
I do not concur.
I know you don't agree. But how do you feel about that? What's your take on this?
All right. So I genuinely do, you're right, I do shy away from kind of, not explicit particularly, but just generally sexual images being put in front of me.
Yeah.
Unless I've sought them out myself. But if I'm going to seek them out myself, that's very much a solo activity, I think. I don't tend to kind of, if I'm in a chat or some kind of platform where, people are sharing images daily, there's normally a designated channel where that can be shared. And therefore it's not given to me unless I go and look for that in that channel, which is easier to cope with because I don't really want it.
Okay.
Now, the reason for that, I think, is because I don't ever like the feeling that what we do is in somehow debased in some way and brought down to the fact that we can't cope unless we're regularly seeing images of, cocks and pussies and stuff.
All right.
And I don't like the association that as a group of people, we are fed by visual stimulus. I much prefer, as I've said before, the cerebral connections that we build ourselves. Now, that's not to say I don't appreciate a good picture and can appreciate the art behind that and the sentiment behind that. But I generally don't receive these things well. I go, oh no, I don't want to see that because why? I would rather see it myself in reality and undress somebody and get to that point myself. But
let me interject here.
Go on then.
But you're talking about, because I guess we're talking about a couple of different things. Mm-hmm. If you go on to, for example, a chat group that we're in, could be ours, could be someone else's, and you see a picture pop up and that, you're very likely to go, ugh.
That's not because I think the picture's bad.
No, but
it's just the way it makes me feel.
Yeah, but there is that is within this thread is going to contain naughty pictures and that's what you're going to see space, right? Uh-huh. And there is, regardless of that, there is an amount of eye rolling from you. Not the kind of sexy, oh my God, I've just come eye rolling, but the, they're posting sexy.
Yeah.
Is it different though if people send you those direct? So I'm not talking about people that have just kind of sent you hey, on Twitter, hey, here's my cock or whatever.
No, I know what you mean. You mean
is it different if people friends or people that we have sexy adventures with send us something? Is that different?
So if it was, now this is an interesting one. If it was sent to just me, as in here, I think this is something you'll enjoy seeing because it's based on a connection that we may have.
Yeah.
All right. It's not my normal go-to method of stimulus, but if it's shared in a group which you are in, as in we're both in that, it's quite interesting. My reaction is very much, I wonder if he's turned on by that.
That's your entire reaction.
Yeah.
So are you turned on by that though?
Sometimes. Yes, depending on what it is. But I can't really vocalise what I'm trying to say.
That's great for a podcast.
No, I'm trying to. But it's almost like, not competitive, but it's almost like we're both recipients of these things. And I'm almost kind of guarded as to whether I display a level of interest or not, because that then they may determine what happens next. If I went, oh my God, this is really hot, let's go and have sex while we watch it, right? Maybe that's what the images are designed to provoke. I don't know. Or maybe it's just because, hey, I have a connection with you both. This is what I think you might like to see. I don't know, but I don't know how you feel when you get them, but you probably go, well, that's really hot.
So
I worry more about what your interpretation of the images are.
What are you worried about?
I don't know. And that's the interesting thing.
So
I don't know if they put me on my guard because I then default into a level of, not jealousy, that's the wrong word, but almost like there is only one reason why you would be shown images, right?
Yes.
Potentially.
Well,
the design to
give
a reaction. Get a reaction. Make you feel a way.
Did you say give erection?
No. It's designed to make you feel a certain way. Otherwise you might share a picture of your dinner.
Well, I think there is obviously any picture is designed to make you feel a certain way. I think sometimes there is a showing off. Sometimes there is a this is what I'd like to do with you two or whatever. And sometimes there's a it's a tease. Yeah. It's this is what you could have been doing right now.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's, I think you'd like that. This, I'm doing something which I think you would enjoy. Here it is. So I there's a million other things that, reactions that you can have to this stuff. In terms of whether I like them, it's interesting because generally people know that you do not like them. I don't tend to get pictures.
Right.
I rarely get pictures or videos or whatever, particularly if it's in a group, not that I'm in many other chats. And the chats I am in with people that I've been on single dates with or whatever, they are not spicy because I know that you don't want them to be spicy.
Not particularly, not hidden ones that...
No,
because I don't have like spicy chats without you.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm assuring you that they are not spicy. So therefore, when I do get anything through, I'm like, and it is exciting. I like, I'm quite visually stimulated, and it's like, that's sexy. I like that, and I also like the fact that someone has taken time to do that for us,
right,
or me, or you, or whatever.
Okay.
So I'm like, this is a treat. This is nice. This is sexy. Do I immediately want to go and have sex because of it? I don't know. Depends on what's being sent. But it's so rare for that to happen that I'm like, And it's interesting that your reaction is so guarded because I'm like, that's hot. I will respond in the chat and say, that is sexy. That is a hot thing. I like it.
And I don't know what to do. I go, I understand this is a sexual image or video but I almost feel like I need to watch that alone, not because then I can just, I don't know, do something about it, but more because I don't know how to react with other people watching my reaction. Does that make sense?
But
I don't know how to receive it without feeling I'm being judged for my reaction, even though I know I'm not. But I feel like that is
true of you on so many different levels.
Yeah, probably.
Even watching our World Cinema Days.
Yeah.
You will be very much about watching the art of the movie rather than the titillation or whatever it might be with it. And it's fascinating to me that you kind of you don't want to respond in that kind of way. And I was like, wow, this is hot. And then it sort of reminded me that we haven't taken any pictures for a long time. And I was sort of starting to wonder why that was. And I'm very conscious that, for you've been sort of going through some dietary changes.
Yeah.
And you've lost quite a lot of weight, like quite a lot. But I also think you've been battling like menopause. So you've not been feeling sexy.
No, not at all.
And not been feeling particularly inspired. So it's quite hard to go, hey, sexy wife, let's go take some sexy pictures. Because you've always been predisposed to roll your eyes and go, oh, but you're even more so now. And I think, interestingly, sort of the last week or so, we've certainly noticed that changing your meds, and I'm not going to bang on about meds. People have probably heard about that enough for at least an episode. I think you've certainly seemed a bit more interested and a little bit more alert to sexy things going on.
Yeah.
So I think we are getting into a space where you're a bit more inclined to be like, oh, okay. And interestingly, yesterday when we got back from our charity shop adventures, very sexy charity shops, and you were trying on your clothes, you were very happy to pose and show yourself off a bit and show off your new clothes. Actually, and that's a really good indicator for me to say, actually, you're getting back into a space where you're feeling confident about yourself, but also you want to show yourself off a bit more.
Yeah.
And my reaction having seen that video was like, all videos, they were really hot. I was like, oh, that is very sexy. I'm like, oh, that's fun. We should do something. And I would have been very happy to film something and return it. Right. But also, in my head, I'm like, well, I need at least 7 different cameras and I need a lighting setup and I need to.
I'm not great at, as you say, showing myself off.
No.
It's just not something I'm comfortable doing. Not even if I look banging, I still don't feel comfortable doing that because for me, it's an element of showing off. And that's not me.
You said, that it seems that you find that some of this is very base and very.
Can be.
And I think you don't
what we received wasn't, to be clear.
No, what was received was very, very nicely done and really sexy. But you don't like to put yourself in a situation where you seem to be hungry.
Yes. That's
and
a really
I find
good
that
way of saying it.
I find that really funny because you can be quite hungry, and I've seen you almost predatory.
Ooh.
Like out there, like when you're on the hunt, and I've seen you do that a little bit, not very often. So you can get into that mindset.
Okay.
But not necessarily from pictures, and I just find it endlessly fascinating that you're kind of.
Okay, I got another analogy.
Okay.
It might try and explain what I mean a bit better, and we won't go on about it because I appreciate this is like just a preamble to other people talking.
Yeah.
But anyway, my last point on this. So if we were to watch a film together, a normal film, not a sexy film, just a film, and it's a film that has something really, really moving and sad, and it's going to make me cry. Okay. Even the fact that I'm going to show an emotion like tears or upset, I still feel like that's not something I should be allowing other people to see sometimes. So if I was to cry in a film because it's sad, even that I kind of think, I should turn my head slightly so you can't see I'm crying.
Despite the noise coming from you as you're crying.
I cry silently. I can sob very quietly into a glass of Sauvignon, trust me. I've done it enough times.
Well, I know.
But it's that outward level of putting my emotion in front of someone else for me to be perceived in some way is quite difficult sometimes for me. And I don't like crying in front of people, and I don't like it having some kind of reaction in front of people sometimes because it feels private, and I don't do well sharing that. So in the same way, receiving an image or video designed to provoke a reaction that is got to be sexy, right? Because it is a sexy thing. It feels, not shameful. I'm not going to say shameful. It's not, but it feels almost a private reaction is being pulled out of me publicly, and it feels alien to me. I don't know how to always deal with it. Even though I could look at that and go, that is really hot. It's actually making me feel very sexy, and let's go do something about that. But I find it hard to do that. And it's the same as watching something that makes me cry. I feel like I don't want that to be seen.
Who'd have thought, having met your parents,
that's got nothing to do with it.
It really does.
God, this is going down a rabbit hole.
Okay. Your parents did not like showing a large level of emotion.
No, agreed.
And they were very much part of an older generation that were pure British stiff upper lip.
Yeah, probably.
And, neither happiness nor sadness was endorsed. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's not to say it was unhappy or anything.
No. I didn't say that, but actually showing that emotion,
it was not didn't come naturally.
Didn't come naturally,
No,
and
not at all.
they certainly didn't. So it comes as no surprise to me that that's how you feel. And plus, I've known you for a long time now. The interesting flip side is, of course, I am an oversharer. I can't shut up, and I can't. I'm very easily readable, and for fuck's sake, I'm on a podcast talking about my sex life. So my ability to kind of go, well, I like this. This is fun. I'm enjoying it. Is tempered muchly by what I know your reaction will be to things.
Yeah.
So when I'm very happy to say, oh, that was a hot video and that was a sexy video, but I also know that even if you like it, even if you thought it was the world's hottest thing, particularly in the context of how it was sent and how it was done, I know that you're going to go, So
not because that's my genuine opinion.
No, I know.
But I don't know how to share what I think.
What would you like your reaction to be, though? What do you think you should do?
Oh my God.
Because it's different if you're saying that's your reaction and that's how you like to be. That's one thing. But if you're saying, "Oh, I like that," and this isn't an open invitation for everyone to send us loads of videos or whatever. And
what do you think of this one?
Yeah. What about this one?
How does that make you feel?
But
hungry, I guess.
Yeah. How would you like to respond to that? And in your head, if you were being your ultimate self, your best version,
Someone
what would you do?
gave me some truth serum and went, right, here we go. I think I'd probably like to be able to express how I'm feeling about what I've seen or heard or been told in a more or just in a way that's not kind of shrouded by embarrassment or worry or concerned about perception, and even to the point, I think, where that's probably why I don't do well with dirty talk, because I can't help but get my head into a zone of don't you sound stupid, and why are you saying this, and maybe you're not doing it right. I don't know, this is just years and years of stuff like that I'm hardwired to just not share things like that without overthinking it. Does that make sense? I
absolutely get where you're coming from. I think this again...
And I wish I could be in a point where I don't do that.
You absolutely could be. I think you can... this is the sort of thing that I suspect counselling would be useful for.
I don't want counselling.
Well, okay. But if you're saying... And if you're saying that this is how you feel about one thing, and you would like to be more of a certain behaviour, well, you either just try and do that more and and flex those skills, or you talk to someone about it.
But I've never really thought of it as something that ruins my life in any way, or I can't function. But because
but this goes back to the defense mechanism of if it's not it's not dangerous, it's not ruining my life. Why would I bother about it? This shouldn't. But actually, if it's something that you'd like to be more in the space of, then actually you could try that.
Maybe. I'll give it some thought. All right. Okay. Well, I think this is actually probably something we could talk about for a long time.
I'm conscious
that we have other people who have very interesting things to say as well. And it's not all about me.
Well, I'd love to hear what everyone else has got to say about the videos thing, about pictures. So drop us a message, see what you think, and then maybe we'll pick it up at another time. And if you think that Mrs. H deserves some counselling, sign up to our Patreon and we'll fund it and get her some help. Right, play the thing.
We've got something that's just for you. Holy shit, it's an interview.
Right, I'd like to welcome the delightful, the wonderful, the amazing Mr. and Mrs. J to the podcast. Thank you for joining us today, folks.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So we've brought you on to quiz you, to ask you questions, to find out more about you, and also find the secret to the success of your relationship. Some of those things I cannot guarantee.
Does everyone have a secret?
Oh, I don't know.
What's ours?
Ours is that we sleep with other people.
But we've only figured that out recently. That wasn't always our secret.
No, that's the relative. Well, you say relatively new. It's like been 10 years now. Yeah, but
have we got another secret?
Many secrets, but we've got to have material for other episodes. Yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, welcome to the show, folks. Thanks for joining us. What I'd like to know is, can you please describe each other for our listeners? What do you look like? What are you like? What are you about?
Mr. J is very tall, quite broad-shouldered. He's got shaved head, lovely beard. He's got lovely smile. Generally quite happy chap. Great co-cat parent, passenger princess, renovation buddy, all of the above.
And Ms. J is equally actually quite tall for a girl. She has lovely brown hair. She has the most gorgeous green eyes. She somehow manages to command a room quite easily for such a caring, actually very sweet person. Troublingly smart, annoyingly good at arguing, and somehow incredibly good at getting her points across. She is, without doubt, the life and soul of many a room, and is very good at having sex with other people.
That was just really sweet, considering you've done basically no prep for this.
What am I going to say? I'm a wordsmith.
I love that addition at the end to the CV of the swingers. Really good at having sex with other people.
What I'd like to know is, what awards have you won for having sex with other people?
Many. It's one of my many accolades. It was a weird Christmas party when that got announced, but we went with it.
Well, since we're on the topic then, what is, Miss J, your special move?
My special move? Oh no. Well, that is the secret. That's the secret. Can't reveal it to you.
God, terrible secret.
I heard that it was written in the bathroom at VA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it probably is. It's probably one of the nicer things written about me there, so I'll take that.
Which is actually what it says about you. So how did you folks get started in this crazy lifestyle journey?
So it was go back to kind of when we first sort of met. So I had been in a long-term relationship. I was married previously. That didn't work out. And I moved into London. I was single for the first time in my kind of essentially adult life. And I did what all sort of 30, how old was I then? Early 30s single lady do in London. And I got myself straight on the apps with basically the sole ambition of shagging my way around London, which is kind of something that I had partially achieved. And then I matched with Mr. J on Tinder. And I think we both kind of went into it not really expecting it to be anything other than a lovely night. So we went out on a date, had a really good time. He actually didn't come home with me despite my best efforts. He turned me down. And but very quickly we organised another date, started to sort of see each other. And I think where I'd kind of been in this long-term relationship for such a long time, I was quite keen on exploring my sexuality in terms of bisexuality, but also just kind of generally, and having not really had that opportunity for quite a long time. We kind of talked about a lot of things that we liked. And one of the things I had on my sex bucket list, as it were, was to go to a sex club. And I sort of mentioned to Mr. J, would you be interested in this? And we kind of had a lot of chats about it. And so probably for the first sort of few weeks, it was quite about the sex, to be fair. And I think we signed up to Le Boudoir as you have to sign up as a couple and, get verified and check you're a real person and all that. So we kind of did that about a month into our relationship, and with the kind of, this is going to be something really fun we're going to do together. And then very quickly after that, I think we kind of both realized that actually this wasn't just sex, and it was, go on.
I would caveat that and say, on the first date, I almost said I love you.
Oh, that's adorable.
I didn't, because I wouldn't have made it to a second date. It would have been a very funny story going forward. You asked me very quickly that it's like, yeah, this isn't just sex.
There was a chance that maybe those were the others. Hey, right. So we signed up and we kind of go did. And then I think we kind of just we signed up and then just sort of sat on it for a year, really, while we sort of just got to know each other and kind of, sort of became a couple, really, didn't we? And did all this sort of that thing you do when you first get together and everything like that. And just really kind of got to know each other really well. And yeah, it was lovely. And then I traveled quite a lot for work. I'd been away for a few weeks and had come back, and it was maybe a week or so after I got back. And we just sort of sat on the sofa on a Saturday, and I was like, oh, do you think we should go to this sex club tonight? It was that. And we'd had a lot of kind of pillow talk about what we kind of thought about, but we hadn't really gone much beyond that, other than we thought this might be a fun thing to go and do together. And we'd had conversations about, what that might look like, but I don't think we've really kind of had our eyes open to what was out there. So we kind of got dressed up and went along, and then I'll let you take over from here. What's your favourite part?
So he had a very fun first visit. It was everything I think we wanted it to be. And then the next day we went out, we played mini golf as a little reconnection and stuff like that. It was very fun. And Miss J drove us over. We got, had a great time, got back in the car, and she turned to me, quite wild in the eyes, and said, "Which one makes the car go?" And taught me how to drive completely, because of we were kind of speaking about the night before and kind of like how fun it was, and she just completely lost all sense of how to do anything. She's been driving since she was 17 as well. And she turned to me, the non-driver, and said, "How do you make this go?" Well, yeah, I always kind of took that as, this is good. I can't really, we can't really turn back now. Yeah. And I don't think we have really kind of looked back from it. I think, I think, obviously you've had guests on the show before who've kind of said, just how many great things come from the lifestyle and stuff like that. And I guess no one really talks about the dangers of forgetting how to drive.
No. Well, I have a very lovely blonde lady thanks for that.
Oh, but there's some lady whose name we never found out.
So a cautionary tale then, you might forget how to drive if you have a really good night at the first club you go to.
That sounds like a pretty good night.
It does sound like a good. Can I ask real quick, when you went to Boudoir, were you going with the intention of just seeing what was there and maybe watching and maybe just playing with each other, or were you open to the idea that other people might be there that you may end up being with as well?
So I think we kind of kept it quite open. We knew we weren't ready we didn't even know the term for it then. We knew we didn't want a full swap. I think we knew we liked, and I definitely, I think we kind of went in with the intention of this is a great chance for Ms. J to kind of, get the practical side, sexuality and stuff, the boots on the ground action.
A practical diving certificate, okay.
Exactly, yeah. But so I think, we both knew we wanted that. And, I was quite keen on soft swapping in general and stuff like that. I had a really good time. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just to kind of answer it, sorry.
No way.
I was going to say, I think just to kind of answer your question, we kept it fairly open. We kind of knew we weren't ready to full swap, but we definitely went in with the intention of we want other people to.
Yeah. I think we didn't really know. So we actually, after that night, I kind of did what I always do and went into full research mode and read absolutely everything I possibly could, and that's how we found your podcast and everything like that. So we kind of got, after that, we sort of understood a bit more what we could talk about, if that makes sense. I think before that we didn't really know what we were going into. I think we were a little bit naive, weren't we, really, as well? And that we kind of went there, we chatted to loads of people. It was really great. Everyone's so friendly and everything like that, as well as the sexy stuff. It was really good to kind of get to know people and chat to people. But they were sort of saying stuff, and we were both stood there like, yes, we know all about those terms. And it was so we just sort of fucking stood there and rocked up. But we kind of, I think from that, it kind of gave us a good foundation for what we kind of wanted and everything like that. And I think we'd had the pillow talk, and it was, I think, a little bit mind-blowing to kind of experience some of those things for the first time. Even though I'd had kind of experiences previously in terms of group stuff, but absolutely nothing on the scale of kind of what we walked into.
Yeah.
And then, I think kind of from there, we went back a few times, didn't we, in fairly quick succession. And then they knew us quite well. Yeah. Then we realised that it was cost us an absolute fortune, and then it had to be a different way to do that. We didn't even, we didn't know about I hate it, but fab or anything like a swing hub thing that before kind of somebody told us.
I mean, we were quite lucky though that LB has got
they've got a side and stuff like that. That was
so that makes it a little bit easier.
It's not a cheap night out at Le Boudoir, though, is it?
No.
I mean, for us, we've got the getting into London and staying part, but Le Boudoir itself it's a high-end place, and you pay the money to do that.
Yeah. And I think we kind of, it really helped that we treated it very much as like, this is quite a nice night out for us. Like, you know, so we were treating like, that was a big paid Merrick. Yeah. Yeah, you had to earn it.
Should we explore that, how she earned it? I don't know. There was a deliberate... So what I'd like to know, so you've been doing this for a bit now. How would you describe your dynamic? What are you looking for? What do you go for? What's the plan?
When I sort of say we didn't really know what we were talking about for ages when we first started, we were like, we're not swingers. We're not like having sex with other people. So, but I think we would describe ourselves as swinger couple, bi femme, straight. You, but we meet up with, you know, we're quite happy to kind of meet up with most people, to be honest, in terms of kind of thing. We have met single guys, met single ladies. Yeah, we're fairly open, aren't we? The kinds of opportunities.
Also, we realised we really like group situations. Someone found themselves.
So how long did your soft swap rule last then before you progressed further?
Probably like a couple of months.
I think a couple of months. Yeah.
It was our third visit, so probably not further experience. It's hard.
So about $6,000 in, you finally we've got better get our money's worth.
And then, you know, we decided we were ready.
Oh, I remember years ago. Do you remember years ago when we had this whole thing around, no, we can't possibly do more than soft swap. It's got to be like steps, you know, like base 1, base 2, base 3.
Are you talking about my infamous likening it to a video game?
Yeah.
Like leveling up.
Yeah,
like level 1, soft swap, and then you take the Super Mario mushroom and you can full swap after that. And then, you know.
Yeah, then we had this whole conversation about me going, no, I think actually full swap's probably easier to navigate than soft swap.
Yeah, but I think people find their way differently, don't they?
Yeah, they do, for sure.
Although I think you do like, this is one of those things that Carolyn often puts on the podcast, just because occasionally we'll get another person reach out and go, I agree with her. She's just wanting that validation now.
It's been more than the odd person. Thank you very much.
We kind of were open to it, weren't we? And then we had arranged a private meet that fell through. And then we were going to LB on Saturday anyway. So I think we were both kind of very, like, we not talked ourselves into it, that sounds wrong, but, you know, got our heads around it. Totally. I had the gun loaded in against your temple. And then and then we got that. But yeah, I think like it is a big thing. Obviously, it is a big thing. But I think in my head, it felt like a bigger thing than it was after. Mm-hmm. You know, I think afterwards, I kind of thought, why is that more intimate than a lot of other things like that we do? And I think, for me, I don't see the intimacy in our relationship in the sex, in that I don't think that that's the thing that makes it special, if that makes sense. I think our relationship is so much more than sex, and to reduce it to like, that's, you can do anything else without anyone else except that, makes it feel really reductive to me. And, you know, I feel like we've got this whole life together, we do all this stuff together, and you've seen me at my best moments, my absolute worst moments, and everything like that. And that's what makes our relationship so special, not just the fact that, you know, you're very good at sex.
This is something I kind of struggle to get my head around a little bit at first, and it was because the idea of a soft swap to me seemed less intimate than kissing, and it was something that when we first started, I was very much like, oh yeah, I don't really like the idea of, like, obviously, like, you know, kiss other women, that's great, I love that, whatever. But it's like, I didn't like the idea of you kissing other men.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until Ms. J said to me, it's like, well, you know, that is a big thing for me, because, you know, it's essentially how, and you know, that, like, you know, you get that attraction kind of thing. And I was like, I think for me, it was kind of like that. Oh, well, I do understand that. And you don't want someone to then lose something because of, and well, it is an insecurity, isn't it? It's, you know, it comes down to, and what's nice about this whole thing in general is that that will vary couple by couple. You have some couples who really, you know, agreed that no kissing and stuff like that. And I think it's just about kind of like finding those compromises and having those conversations about, okay, you know, can we find a way for this to work for both of us?
Yeah. I've seen you kiss plenty of women, you have a lovely time now.
It is interesting though, because when you look back at your journey, you kind of look back to those early days and you're like, you worry so much about those. I mean, lots of people worry about the steps and how you progress, and you kind of think, oh shit, like even just doing anything at first can be a big big step, and then you kind of like, maybe it's a full swap, or maybe it's, and you know, for us over the last year or so, it's been like having separate dates. And like if you'd have gone back in time and asked sort of much younger ourselves whether we'd ever get to that point, we'd have been like, fuck off, no way are we going to be able to do that.
Like, no, never.
But you kind of navigate your way, and you become much more comfortable with different things. Some things you'll never get comfortable with, of course, but when you look back, you kind of go, holy shit, we've grown quite significantly, and the relationship has evolved so much. But I can imagine chatting to younger Simon and being like, don't worry, dude, it's going to, you're going to get slightly better at this. Not massively, but slightly better at this.
You're not going to get any better at drinking though.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to get much better at it, but my behaviour is probably going to get worse. Probably. I can neither confirm nor deny this stuff. So what have you learned about yourselves with this?
It wasn't actually, it kind of leads on quite nicely from what you just said there. But as well, it was something you said earlier. And for me, what I've realised is that the social side of things has actually become a very important pudding point for me. When we first started, and this is a direct quote from myself.
No, don't say it, 'cause it makes you sound awful.
Yeah.
You don't say to know exactly what you're going to
Got to hear it now.
I said essentially, other people don't matter. They're all just fucking extras. And
Oh my God, don't put that in.
That's so near. It's like a quote from The Office. I love that so much. That if that's not in an intro somewhere, I'm putting it in.
I mean, so what I very quickly found out, and it was, on our first pub visit, actually getting to speak to people, kind of like understanding, other people saying, oh, I'm really excited for you to be starting this journey and stuff like that. People were actually taking a genuine interest in wanting to speak to you and wanting to find out how things are going and stuff. And then since then, we've made really good friends in the States, and we've got friends who we just go out with just for socials, and go out and do completely different things, like completely non-lifestyle related stuff. And it's really great to actually have all these extra people in your lives. Because I was thinking about it the other day, it was like, it's really hard making friends as an adult otherwise. Like,
Yes.
Friends from school.
Otherwise.
Not if you say things like,
like when
everyone else is fucking extra.
No one's ever going to have sex with us again.
Well, that's fine. Just do it. Well, yeah, I think that is, for me, that is, one of the biggest things for me compared to when we first started, is realizing just how much I really enjoy and really need that kind of social side of what the lifestyle offers. I'm winning it worse.
Yeah, you sound like the Grinch when his heart grows through.
Oh, what a lovely analogy.
It is genuinely surprising about how those relationships become really important in your life. And I can't imagine our lives without so many of the friends that we've made from this. And there's people that we speak to every day, and if we don't get a text from them, we get a bit freaked out. Not because I'm needy, although I am.
You are needy.
But that's the way that relationship works. And then there's people that you bump into every now and then. And like you say, you do all sorts of things. And some of it's not lifestyle or sex related, and some of it's just catching up with friends. And I love that whole dynamic. In fact, I almost prefer the social activity and then naughtiness afterwards, because I like that real deep connection with people. I say real deep, but more deeper than just being fucking extra connection.
It's going to stick now, isn't it? But you have to get a new T-shirt that says we're all extras.
Mine's just going to say I am fucking extra.
Well, we know that, don't we? No, I think you're right about the social thing, though. And it's something that completely poleaxed us, I suppose, when we went in and realised that we were making amazing friends, like friends that we didn't think it would be so easy to make. And now I know I've made friends for life with people. At least I hope I have. But I just didn't see that coming at all. I really didn't. I thought we'd get to know people, sure, but I didn't realise we'd end up making like really close friends with people.
Yeah, to the point where we've been on holiday with people. Yeah. We've met people's children in a safe and friendly environment, of course. But all that stuff, we know people's pets' names. It gets a bit mad when they become so much a part of your life. But then you meet their family and they go, so how did you meet them? And
I shut up because I can't lie and I don't know what to say.
In fact, we had this quite recently. We were at a friend's birthday and it was a vanilla setting, lots of regular, normal family and some other friends. And we were prepped on how we knew these people, like how we knew them. I'm using air quotes, which is awful as a human being to do that, but you know what I mean. And I briefed them to say, like, if anyone asks, do not let Carolyn answer that question under any circumstances.
Oh, crap.
For she will fold like a cheap deck chair.
I just can't remember.
Lo and behold, we're sat out in their garden and someone says, so how do you know them? And Carolyn just turns to me and goes, and looks at me.
Have I said something random like a 90s concert or something
you
stupid?
didn't say anything. You just repeated what I said. Like I was like, oh, we met them because we run events, like 90s based events because we've done
that was it. Yeah.
And Carolyn's like, yeah, 90s things.
We're like to the point where were you just like repeating the last word of what
yeah.
you said?
Yeah, it was almost the don't be suspicious meme. Yeah. Suspicious. Don't be
I
suspicious.
can't lie.
This is very, very true. So that's what you've learned about yourselves. What about other people? What have you learned about them?
So, I mean, it's pretty similar to what you kind of said, but I think I fundamentally feel that most people in the world are good and have good intentions, and I like to believe that. And, you know, Mr. J believes the total opposite and he thinks everyone is awful, which may be the difference between growing up in rural Leicestershire and central London. But, you know, we'll never know. And I think kind of being in this sort of lifestyle has really just enforced that for me, that people are generally going out in the world with good intention. There are very few people that I think we've come across that I would say have actively tried to be a dick. You know, people get things wrong and, you know, people are misjudged situations and things like that. But I don't think many people approach this with like actual malice. And it's just nice to have that kind of collection of people and that kind of community that do generally have that kind of good intention, that like look out for each other, that support each other. And, you know, so kind of that shared experience, I think, has been really nice. And, you know, little anxieties that I think we both have experienced, and you chat to people and so many other people have almost exactly the same thing. And, you know, I think for me, like, I think people sort of mention about, you know, body confidence and that kind of thing. And I think prior to sort of this, I think I was sort of, I would have told you I'm a really confident person, but actually in the reality, I think once I kind of draw down a little bit into it, it was like she cared a lot more about what people thought about me than I would have probably admitted. Whereas I think now I'm a bit more at the point where I'm like, actually, as long as I'm kind of doing what I think is the right thing in the situation and sort of, you know, putting myself out there with the kind of best mindset and everything like that tends to get really well received by people. And it's kind of that sort of, I don't know, is that eloquent? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was.
It was very eloquent. I think there's something in that community space and the people looking after each other that was genuinely surprising. We've unfortunately encountered the odd dickhead, but actually when you can count on your hand or hands or you know, a limited number of limbs compared to the hundreds of other people that you meet that are really awesome. And I love the fact that, you know, there's a whole bunch of communities out there, but for the most part, those communities are looking out for each other and supporting each other and counselling each other and getting them through issues and all this good kind of stuff. And if there is a dickhead amongst them, then they're very quick to resolve that dickheader. And, you know, even with our own stuff, you know, if someone's misbehaving in that fucking group, don't I just know it? Because I will get like 20 messages from people like, oh, what, like, this is a problem. What should we do? What is the accepted way to remove this person or whatever it might be? So, I quite like that about it.
But that's life, isn't it? You meet dickheads all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be like the law of averages, isn't it? If you meet like 10 nice people, there's going to be a random dickhead in there.
Yeah. I do feel though that, like, yeah, if you're in this space and you are a bit of a dickhead, you get found out very quickly.
Yeah.
And, you know, trust is so much, you know, it's a core foundation of what everyone in this lifestyle has. And I think once that's gone, it's very hard, I imagine, to kind of get that back.
Definitely. Yeah. I agree. And I think it's important for me to kind of point out the difference between people being a dickhead and someone not being for you. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of,
I agree.
Because not everyone is for everyone and not everyone's going to be everyone's cup of tea, from friendship to sexy times or whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that person is an awful human being.
No.
And I think there's plenty of just people out there that aren't for you, you know, or us or whomever. But there's fortunately few actual dickheads, which is good.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the intention behind sort of actions, I think, is so important. And, you know, if you're kind of I'm sure there's plenty of people that we're not, we're not their sort of people, and that's absolutely fine. But as long as they're not trying to hurt anyone, you lead people to it, don't you?
That's it. And I feel like, so much of it, especially when you think like the kind of how much of the lifestyle stuff happens on apps now as well. Like you just think it's essentially trying to approach it as you would with anything, except for you're trying to be flirty, you're trying to be confident, you're trying to tell, you're trying to grab someone's attention, all of that in one go with one message. And you're not always going to get it right. And I think, I'm not, sorry, I'm speaking more for like, the messages that we've received, stuff like that. But and that's it, is I really take for granted how lucky I am to be doing this as part of a couple, because Ms. J, you open a lot of doors for me. All the hard work is done. I'm just like, hey, how's it going? See my fiance? Yeah?
That's much more star power than, don't you know I have a podcast, darling? It's never, ever worked. Never, ever worked.
Me.
You say that. I wish that would do it for you.
If anyone is going to use that phrase, it will be me, I can assure you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'd like to know maybe what kind of challenges have you had so far?
Yeah, for me, I think I always I knew about myself before we started with this that I was a very anxious person. And I think then putting myself into a position where I was incredibly kind of like vulnerable and putting myself out there in a lot of ways that I wasn't, I think the weird thing is for me, while I was always quite an anxious person, I was always like, I'm pretty good at sex though. Say what you want about me, but I'm pretty good at sex. And then putting myself in a situation then where I was like, oh no, I need to do the sex now. And like, being quite anxious about it then. And then it all started kind of like becoming a lot more than it was. And it was the social stuff. And it was this, wanting to really kind of like get in, not get in or anything, but kind of like show that I could be part of that community and stuff like that. And kind of like very quickly, it all kind of felt like it got on top of me. And I feel like taking a step back and kind of like now, and obviously you throw into that, then, real life gets in the way, work, house, everything like that,
Yeah.
And unfortunately for me, well, no, actually not unfortunately for me, but like this is my first proper relationship, and so I've never really I've been kind of like navigating my way through what is a good boyfriend, then what is a good fiance, and what does it mean to be a partner, then going into that, what does it mean to be a partner in the lifestyle and stuff. And it definitely kind of turned in on me quite a lot. And I think I got very kind of unsure about where I stood, and it feeds into my whole idea of people are generally quite bad, in that for a while, my kind of perspective was, well, if it's not really me you want to speak to, it's Ms. J, which is understandable. You're hot. But it really made me feel like, I don't really know where I belong. I don't really know what I add to these kind of situations and stuff. And so that has definitely been one of the big, and I'm really happy to say that, I have for the majority kind of got past that.
And I don't think, and it absolutely wasn't true that's what.
No, absolutely not.
I think that was just how you were perceiving it.
That's it, yeah. You forget that just because you start something new, it doesn't mean that you yourself are a new person. You bring all those insecurities, all those kind of little anxieties, all those little jabs that you give yourself every single day. You bring those into this lifestyle with you. And unfortunately, I think what was annoying is that I was in such like we're a very solid couple, and to then realize that you've brought in these little weaknesses accidentally, and seeing those insecurities kind of become quite troublesome, it's always quite jarring in what is a very really celebratory kind of space, and where people want to G each other up and really want to support each other and celebrate each other, and to kind of feel like I was really only half doing that. I was quite, I really wanted to show that I could do it for other people. And yeah, at the same time, I was like, oh, yeah, I don't deserve it.
Yeah, it was strange, because you were like building yourself up in a way as part of, which was great. And like, we were both having a really good time. And then it was almost like in private, you were just pulling yourself back down. Like, no, you not today. Like, no, you're not allowed to do that. Or you're not allowed to kind of, and it was really bizarre. And it was probably a couple of months where I think I clocked that something wasn't quite right, and we were talking about it, but you were sort of saying, no, it's all fine. And then we've had a bit of a chaotic year, and we bought a new house, and we've had to renovate the whole thing, and we've been moving up and down the country in between, and work and life and everything was quite, so I think it was a kind of combination of a lot of different things. And then we finally kind of managed to get sit down, and I think we just sort of said, look, I know that something is wrong, and I'm not going to be told that nothing is wrong anymore. And I need you to stop pretending that you're okay when I know you're actually not, and you don't admit that to yourself about things. And we had that quite a really honest conversation, didn't we? And not just about lifestyle stuff, in terms of like just generally, like, you know.
Yeah, and I think, you know, they say, like, you know, I mean, I think one of the things I heard very early on when we started all this was that, you know, if you're coming into a lifestyle to like almost plaster over a crack, it's gonna destroy you, and you have to really come in with, like, you know, on a strong foundation, and this is simply to complement that. And I think for me, that's exactly how we started. And when I think back to how we started, it was like rosy, it was great, it was, you know, just fun all the time. And, you know, that moment when life kind of like, it was almost like honeymoon phase of swinging kind of came to a very crashing halt.
Yeah.
And my own anxieties then kind of were like, hey, how's it going? And so, yeah, you know, again, though, like what got me through that, it wasn't me by myself or anything. It was, again, being in a really solid partnership where I've got so used to thinking I've got a problem, I will solve my problem, I will get myself out of this, to actually then kind of realize, oh, wait, no, I've got someone in my life who actually cares about what happens to me, and, like, you know, wants me to see me how she sees me as well. And so when you say it out loud, it seems really obvious, but not for me.
I certainly in our earlier days, I've not so much more recently, but I've definitely been in there, and I've definitely, you know, the phrase that always stuck with me that someone used, not about me specifically, but used about themselves, was that they felt like the free Bombay potatoes that you get when you order a curry. And that phrase really resonated with me, because I was like, of course they're coming to see Carolyn. I bring nothing to the table at all. And I'm just there, and, you know, I might as well be the Bombay potatoes that people get. And if they eat them, great. And if they don't, well, you know, that's on them. And that's how I felt for quite a while. And you can slip into that. And once you're in that space, it's very hard to kind of realize the value that you can bring to the table. And in a way, I kind of went through a bit of a fake it till you make it, because that sort of Mr. H mask, which I've talked about before, the podcast me, or the you know, the hosting me, I was like, why didn't I just be that person a little bit and see how that works out for me? Now, that's not the healthiest of ways of dealing with it necessarily, but it was a good means of me going, okay, I'm not actually worried about me, because I'm Mr. H, and therefore I can just turn up and do whatever Mr. H would do, that slightly exaggerated version of me. And that really helped me realize that I did have something that I could bring to the table, and people did want to speak to me for me. But it took a while for that to click in. And of course, we worked on it with ourselves. We talked about it a lot. And actually, the community were really good with it. And one of the things I've found is that I've only got to mention an issue, and normally someone will come out and have a bit of advice, support, or whatever. And a fantastic one recently, actually, someone recommended a book to me, and I wish I could remember what that fucking book was called, but I'll put it in the show links. It was one of those books that's like 30 years old or 40 years old or whatever, but that is now gloriously a free audiobook on Spotify. And I was like, it was almost like the not the subtle art of not giving a fuck, but it was almost that kind of thing about.
You're listening to the Ethical Slut. Is that what it is?
No, that's currently what I'm listening to.
That's confusing.
This is the current book, also free on Spotify to premium users. I'm not
you
paid.
Mean you're multitasking, listening to more than one free book at the same time?
No. I finished the other book, but it was some really useful advice about not worrying about what other people say, building connections, and sort of going over that initial hurdle of not being able to talk to people in a social environment.
The thing is, though, we went into this as a couple, you know, very joined up on, you know, what we wanted to get out of that, and ultimately we went into this for each other, not for one of our benefits, really. So if one of us isn't feeling great, then we stop and we pick up and we work out what needs to be, you know, put right, or what needs to be talked about. So, you know, from what you're saying, Mr. J, you know, Miss J very quickly became quite cognizant that there was something not quite right. And that's brilliant, because it means that you're there for each other and you're doing this for all the right reasons. if you've got a little hurdle, then you sit down and you talk about it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's it. It's kind of like realizing that, yeah, you've got someone on your side as well, you know, rather than feeling like, oh, you know, I can't, if I stop now, it's gonna create a bad situation, or it's gonna, like, you know, I know Miss J wants to go out tonight. If I don't want to go out tonight, then I'm letting her down or something like that. And that was never the case. But these are the little things you tell yourself. And then because it's basically, it's just that kind of like almost dancing around that martyrdom or like victim-y kind of thing where it's like, yeah. And it's kind of getting stuck in those little cycles where it's like, poor you, when really you should be, shut the fuck up, man.
So, because you had those, you know, those concerns, and like, I think a lot of people have those anxieties. I think you just had kind of got into a little bit of a spiral of them, but rather than us, I think, like, rather than sitting down and actually us tackling them, which we did do, that I think you kind of stewed on it for a while and on your own. And then when we finally, you know, when it pinned you down and something's wrong, and I'm not, I'm not letting you leave until you tell me exactly what's going on. It was a lot easier, wasn't it? And it was like, yeah, well, we can talk. Let's talk these things through in a, you know.
For sure, yeah. And I would just say, if, like, you know, to anyone who might be listening to this episode as well, is that those kind of anxieties, which are thankfully for me a lot more common than I first realized. And so what I would say is that, you know, counseling or like therapy, just that space and time to kind of explore where those kind of insecurities come from and stuff like that, that is a very useful way, because as soon as you're able to put a name to it or put a pattern to something, the more conscious you become of it, and you're able to actually say, oh, okay, I can see what I'm doing there. I can see why I'm doing that. And what I can do is take a step back and do what I need to do to make that go away.
Yeah. We're out to 3 people, 2 of my friends and your therapist.
Yeah. Well,
It's been really useful. It's been really useful.
So, Miss J, are your challenges different then?
Yeah, I think mine is not so much around the anxieties. I don't get in the same kind of way as you. I think mine were more around sort of that body confidence point and that sort of thing. And I think, you know, silly things like, you know, just under 6 foot tall, a hair under 6 foot tall. But I wouldn't, you know, I love shoes and everything like that, but getting me in a pair of heels at an occasion other than a wedding before I started all of this, I absolutely wouldn't have done, because I thought I looked like a giant looming over everyone. But so that was kind of an interesting part of it at first, when you sort of think, oh, I want to get dressed up, but I don't want to look ridiculous like the giraffe in the corner. So, but I think that kind of just like, I think I had a bit of a mindset shift, which was lovely, towards kind of like, you know what, if you feel good and you're kind of, this is what you want to wear, and, you know, everything like that, like, the world's not going to fall apart if I wear a crop top in the gym because I'm not hot now. Like, it's not that temperature. I mean, I've got no internal body control. I think that was kind of a real thing for me. But it's funny how quickly it kind of feels normal. Like, we went to VA on Saturday to a Halloween party. I had like my little dress and heels on, lovely, and then I was in my dress down, you know, wandering around quite happy in my dress down, you know, go to the bar, get a bottle of water. Got to the end of the night, and I was driving home because you're a passenger princess, and got changed in the changing room to kind of go out and to the loo, and I chucked my like Slytherin hoodie and my old jeans on to drive home because I didn't want to be driving home in a little dress. And I felt more out of place and more self-conscious in my jeans and hoodie than I did wandering around in my pants. It's so strange how you shifted. I was just sort of stood there waiting for you to go to the loo, and I was like, oh.
Although I love the fact that it was a Slytherin hoodie. Yeah. I'm behind that 100%. Yeah. Slytherin. Well done.
I'm a Ravenclaw one.
Yeah, well, you're not a Ravenclaw. You're not a Ravenclaw. I am. You're Mr. J has done the quiz multiple times, and he is a Hufflepuff. No. So that he gets Ravenclaw.
Well, I love books and shit.
I don't think Simon's ever done the quiz because he refuses point blank, but I reckon he's a Gryffindor. He's just so bloody Jedi.
See, that's what a nice partner says. Oh, you'd be a Gryffindor.
Yeah. You want to keep those anxieties under control, but just bubbling under the surface. Never let him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. This is it. We're getting married. We're getting married next year. I've got to keep
Got to keep negging me.
So what I want to know, with all that in mind, what advice would you give to newbies?
So I think for one thing that we've sort of found really useful is to have those kind of conversations around boundaries and make sure you kind of set those boundaries, but don't be afraid to revisit them and reassess them. And I think one thing that we found really useful is we've stopped sort of saying like, we don't do that, and saying more, that's not for us right now. Because before we would say, no, we don't do that, or that
We haven't tried that.
Yeah. And then it felt like when we were talking about it was almost like one of us was moving the goalpost, or we were doing something a bit wrong, and it kind of made it a little bit tricky, didn't it? Almost to kind of have conversations about it. And there's, at the moment we don't do separate dating, and for now that's not something that we're interested in exploring. But I think we've both spent a lot. But I think we're conscious that everything that we've done has evolved, and we don't I don't want it to feel like if one of us wants to approach a conversation and say like, oh, I've been thinking about this, it will feel like you're about to get told off.
Yeah.
So that just reminded me of a really funny story though, which is like, for a while we would speak about, would you ever want to do solo dates or anything? And Miss J would always say, oh, I'm not interested in that right now. And me being me, as we all know by now, I heard right now and I was like, oh no. Yeah. Oh, well, that's 25 years from now.
Is that just like an egg timer that she's just tapping away there?
It's time we're going off summer in the house now.
Yeah, it's time. The line of suitors is already waiting outside the living room door.
What I really loved when we first started this, and it's something that we haven't done in a while because we've mostly been going to events rather than just kind of off the cuff club nights, but treating everyone like a date night. So when you're going to a club, fit it. One of my favorite things is Ms. J will be getting ready, and I'll make us like a cocktail each, and like she'll have a martini, I'll have an old fashioned. You get all dressed up, you go out. We were very lucky that LB was the kind of like nearest club to us when we first started, and so that in itself, it made it feel like it was a big night out and stuff. But it was really nice the next days, and we would we'd go play mini golf like I said at the start. The next time after our second night, we went out to Baker Street. We went to a bookshop. We were walking about and stuff. It was a really nice day. And I said, I'd really like some carpaccio. And Ms. J kept looking around for one. I was like, I'll eat whatever. And she went, no, if my baby wants carpaccio, he's going to get carpaccio. She found me beef carpaccio. Well, no. I relate to all people as long as they like carpaccio.
My little working class Midlands roots are like, who the fuck is that?
Idiot. Right now.
I love that. Wife,
I'm going to ask this. I like
she's
this
desperate to ask the favourite question, as ever.
Yeah. So it's my favourite Room 101 question. So if you could chuck one thing about, I say the lifestyle then, should we say lifestyle?
Yeah.
Into Room 101, never to be seen again, what would it be?
So I was giving this a lot of thought, and I was trying to think of what could I pick that wouldn't make me sound like a complete knob? Well, than the direct quote I gave earlier. I think for me, and so I really dislike the term content creator, and I feel like that for me is the one that I would put in the bin, because
But not content creators themselves.
Not content creators themselves. No, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I just feel like the term content creator is really annoying, and it makes me think that like
you just want a rebrand, don't you?
Yeah. You're not in marketing. I really hate it. It just feels like a very kind of like,
it's not the right word.
You're not a copywriter. You're not like, get this one out on the press. It's just, I just dislike, and I feel like it kind of gives, I feel like it puts a bit of an artificial film on stuff almost at sometimes. It puts like an artificial shine on things sometimes. And what I love about like podcasts and stuff like that, and even people who want to do videos and like, have the kind of like, really make a living out of the sexy side of things. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. I think that's great. If you can do it,
it's a lot of effort.
Fucking do it. And like, I think that's brilliant.
We would ever.
Just don't call yourself a content creator.
What I will say, I am a copywriter, and I have got stuff that goes out in the press occasionally. So I'm going to use the phrase, I'm a content creator. Done it. Do you feel dirty now?
You work in the right. Yeah.
But I know what you mean. I'm not massively keen on the phrase or on the wording content creator. And I think it kind of gets used to gloss over what people are actually doing quite a lot as well. And I also think, interesting, for the OnlyFans type stuff, people kind of forget that is sex work as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important distinction, because if you are creating content in that way, then you are effectively either I wouldn't say a porn star, but you are in the porn industry, or you are a sex worker. And I think that's something that kind of, I'd rather people be honest about what they're doing with that sort of stuff.
I feel that if you could turn around and legitimately say, I'm a porn star, that's a strong answer.
There's
Yeah.
many websites I can direct you to.
No, but if you can actually say that about yourself, we're like, yeah, no, I'm a star of porn.
Yes.
Like, that's impressive. You got to work to get there.
Yeah.
It's better than content creator. Yelchers on the internet or something.
All right, so that's your Room 101 bin off. What's yours, Miss J?
Really
Really riled up now.
Mine is just like not even rude messages, but sort of messages that you get that are almost like that don't treat you like a human. Which sounds horrible, and it sounds way worse than it actually is. But just sort of like the impersonal kind of messages. Like we had one before, and somebody messaged and said, "Can I have a go on your wife?" And I was like, "I'm not an Xbox. Like it's
50p down.
I just think stuff like that is just, I just can't. And you wouldn't go up to somebody and say it in a pub. Like, why would, I just don't. Yeah. It's that kind of like faceless messaging that I don't like. Yeah.
I think,
I mean, there's many other things, but I think in the lifestyle that I would put in the Room 101, but I think they have a place. So
a special place.
like, I don't like the self-test kits. They can get a bit and they have a place. I'm like, I hate Luton.
That's a good answer. Can I change my answer?
You're just going to put Luton in there.
Runny Luton.
I think with the messaging thing, it's so strange that people, but I think this is true of any dating in the modern age, that people are just, again, it's the dickheadery that comes out and the lack of understanding. I remember one chap, and it could only have been on Fab in our very early days, was like, how much is it to have sex with your wife? So
Yeah.
I literally wrote out an entire price list.
You did?
But yes, I did. You remember this? And I gave like ridiculous, like not only figures, but also demands. Like I was like a rider in a band, like, and I would demand 6 bowls of blue M&Ms and, you know, 1 complete copy of the Kama Sutra unspoiled. And it was all this, and that was just to talk to you. It was like crazy, like £17,000 for a 3.5 minute conversation plus, and I spent 20 fucking minutes writing this out. And totally worth it. And the response was so lackluster. I was so gutted. I was like, I really want to have like wasted this person's time.
Do you know what I want to do now? That message, I want to chuck that into like chat and just say, write me a sulky answer back to this or something, and see what Chat GPT would come out with, because that wasn't around.
I literally write for a living. Why are you trying to take my job away from me?
But I want to see what it comes up with. Don't take your job away from me. I'm not taking your job away. You did an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. That's all I wanted was the praise. This is what this has all been about after all. So what would be your ideal date then, folks?
Does it involve beef carpaccio? Because that sounds lovely.
I'm going to answer for you as well, seeing as you.
No, I'll be honest.
So in terms of kind of like a coupley date, meeting people for the first time, I think go for like a nice drink in a pub that has space away from other people, and maybe like a little bit of food, and then I mean the space away from other people is quite key. So like a big beer garden and back in the corner, and it's getting kind of
Little boots.
Yeah, something like that. And then, I mean, ideally, go back to somewhere that has a hot tub, which, you know, I like a hot tub when it's a small group of people. I don't, the ones at clubs, that's tits. Always make me sweat on that. But something like that, more little drinks. Yeah, see how the night progresses.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I would say you're quite similar. I think, a nice pub, you can never go wrong with. I wouldn't, unless it's like, are you saying like nibbly bits?
Yeah, not full meal.
Yeah,
No.
you can't sit there
Three
and
bits.
be having fish and chips.
No.
I
You had a steak once went out for.
did, yeah, that was nice. Oh, that was good steak. Well, yeah, I feel like the drink, some nice little like nibbly bits, and I would actually say rather than a game of pool or something like that, where you could. So yeah, I feel like something where you
lay back.
Yeah, like naturally flirt a little bit. Yeah. There's a little sex, whatever.
Over the pool table. Get you kicked out of the pub. No more quiet corners for you. Yeah.
Well,
It's a pool table in the pub.
I didn't like this pub anyway.
That's absolutely fair.
Anyway,
So,
let me show you my karate. Sorry.
do you have a question for us?
Yes, I do. Obviously.
All right, SWAT, come on.
Praise good. So we hang on, let me get my words out. We met like slightly later than I think a lot of people did in the lifestyle in terms of our kind of relationship. So I'm mid-30s, sure.
Mid-30s.
Okay, sure. We'll say that. You're still in your 30s. And we're getting married next year. We don't have children yet that we know of, but we're sort of at that stage where we're talking about it's like starting family, and I think where we speak to a lot of people in the lifestyle, they've already kind of had that, had their sort of families and have young children and kind of have to go through that sort of thing. I think we're kind of at the start of that a little bit. I'm just kind of wondered if you had any advice in terms of, not parenthood entirely. It's far too much.
It's a big question.
Yeah.
I guess
navigating that kind of
the lifestyle when you're starting, when you've got a family all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, firstly, we funnily enough, not that long ago, we went to some swinger friends of ours' wedding, which was interesting. They're relatively out to their friends and family. So when they did, we've got friends and we've got family and other, and we were just sat on a naughty table with a bunch of other swingers who we didn't know, which was quite an amusing thing. Highly recommend it for a laugh. But in terms of the whole parenting thing, we've known a few people that have kind of had kids and then just stayed in touch. They tend to sort of, if they've got like a Fab account or a Swing Hub account, they tend to keep them active, but we're taking a break for children, but we're keeping this active to stay in touch with friends and people that we've met.
I'd even go as far as to say that we know some people who have, done just that. They've had a little hiatus whilst they had a baby, which is lovely. And they're just now starting to kind of dip back into things, aren't they? Now and it's quite interesting that they missed it and they wanted to reconnect with it all. So having a family doesn't stop everything. It just means you have a little break and focus on what needs to be focused on, I think, at the time. And then, you might miss it and come back to it.
Well, certainly we got the sense, and because we've known a few people that have had children and come back.
Very young kids.
There comes a point where they're like, fucking hell, I need to adult. Yeah. Like I need to, and obviously the connection between yourselves is critical priority, and they took time to reconnect with themselves after having children, and then we're like, well, that was great, love that. We also miss all of our sexy friends and going out and having some fun, and they kind of, because they kept in touch and maintained some of those connections, they were able to sort of pretty easily come back into that space. But the challenges is then like the babysitting and the first day or first night away from baby. That was a fun one, and all of those things where you just don't think about it if you're not a parent, and then all of a sudden you're like, we've not left the children alone for a late evening, and now we're staying away in a hotel in the middle of like getting your head into that space.
We had this whole conversation with some people about the whole guilt factor that becomes very much, a dominating factor when you become parents, and you think, well, actually, you're happier parents and, husband and wife or partner or whatever it is, for making the time to connect with each other in a way that you'll both value. So in a sense, you're doing everyone a good thing by taking that time to look after your relationship as well as being parents sometimes.
Yeah. Happy parents equal happy children.
They really
so
do.
Going out and fuck people.
And even if you only sit in the social space.
Find some fucking extras. A little baby shirt that says, find my daddy an extra.
Oh my God. You've made it weird.
Be available in the Bed Hoppers t-shirt shop by the end of the day. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure if our answer helped at all.
But we
and I think that's, our friends in this, I think they've all got kids, haven't they?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of the guilt point that they've definitely spoken and that sort of thing. So Yeah. Well, let's see.
I mean, we have cats.
We have cats, yeah.
It's basically the same.
It's basically the same. It's the same. In fact, cats will make you feel worse, probably.
Well, it's
'Cause they're
amazing
jerks.
how much the pets cock blockers in general, because you have to arrange sitting, and then it's like you worried about them, particularly if they get older. So like Yoko's quite old now, and I'm like sad about leaving her, but at the same point, I also want to go and have fun, sexy adventures. And then if you do bring people back, then there's the weird pet and people mix, which is always an interesting one. One of the pets attacked me whilst in bed with somebody quite recently.
Really?
Yeah, that was fun. Yoko gets very, very concerned about. She's very respectful, so she has a bed at the bottom of our bed, and it is easier to put her in that bed than it is to lock her outside because she will make fuss. So I'm very well behaved, very good.
Cover
but
up with
the
a blanket.
second the sexy time is over, she immediately wants to rush to me and ensure that I am safe. Now, sometimes she just wants to lick my feet, which is fucking
so
weird. So I'm trying like, hey, this has been a sexy, sexy time. This is all really fun, having a nice little cuddle. And the dog is like desperately trying to come up and be like, are you okay? What did the women do to you? What did they?
Women?
Yes.
How many women have you had on this solo date?
No, not solo date. It doesn't have to. It could be with, it could be just you and I having sex. She's still concerned. But if it's you and another woman, then she gets very concerned. She's like, oh my God, look poor him. Look at him suffering. I heard the noises he made. He must be restored to normality. So yes, I doubt that children will do that though. So there is that.
I feel like we're paying for a lot more therapy.
You are going to...
Start saving now.
I feel like what we should do is get an obnoxiously loud lock for our bedroom door when we have children, especially when they're growing up.
We have got this.
Yeah.
Friends
like,
of-
early echoes.
See, ours were a lot older when we started doing this, so they didn't go like rooting around in our room randomly and knew better than to do that. But we've got friends with younger kids where they've turned up with a vibrator in hand, like, oh, I've got mummy's toy. What is this? This is fun. And so I would recommend locks on toy drawers and all those kind of things in the future.
Yeah. To be fair, when we were doing the house renovation, we lived between my parents and Mr. J's parents for 7 months. It's a long time. Yeah, which, I mean, the aforementioned anxiety attacks and breakdown may have contributed to it, who knows? But we had our sex box, didn't we?
Yep.
That we had to keep in the back of the car the whole time, just obviously not bringing it.
It's good to go.
Which was great until we went to my brother's house and he went to the back and started helping me unload the bags from the car. Never moved so fast in my entire life at the grey park.
So one of the great joys of being out to friends and family and colleagues is that we have the people do not look in weird places kind of thing. They expect to see odd things in our house. But also, like, if I'm at work and I'm like showing someone a photo, they know damn well not to scroll, for they will not like what they see.
Or they might.
Well, they really, it is.
But they shouldn't see
and
what
they
they
almost
see.
prefer it now if I hold my phone and don't move it and scroll it. It is like a very good situation for me at work.
Tell the story about when we were getting the cement blocks home before we finish up.
Which story?
When we had to get the really long...
Oh, yeah, the sex box came in useful because I forgot to get we had a new fence fitted and I forgot to get the fence posts delivered and had to go and buy 6, how long were they? 6 foot, 6 foot fence posts and try and fit them in the back of an Audi A3, which did not go particularly well. And was trying to work out how to close the roof, close the boot with these posts sticking out the back, and remembered that we had the sex box in the car. Tried to use a variety of scraps to tie the boot together, which still did not work. Anyway.
And then I had to... No, you went and got yourself a Kinder Bueno.
I went and got myself a Kinder Bueno, cried, and then we...
And then we got out of it.
It's fully understandable. A Kinder Bueno can fix a lot of things.
Yeah, it's only a step marginally down from crying over a Sauvignon.
Sit down, shower, cry. Yeah, that's fair. Kinder Bueno would do the job.
Well,
Yeah.
I just want to say a huge thank you to you both for coming on to the show. It's been an absolute delight. This is the bit where I wrap up. How exciting, right? It means you're nearly done. But what I do want to know is, where can people find you? Do you want people to find you? And where should they look? Are there any sites or any, are you creating any content these days that people should be looking at?
Should they look in the back of your car?
Yep.
So the best place to find us is on Swing Hub, and our username is JJ City. So just 2 letter J's and the word city. Yeah, we like talking to people. We love meeting new people and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, we've actually been going to a lot of different clubs lately as well. So
Yes, we are on Fab as well, but I hate it. So
if you want an answer from both of us, Swing Hub is definitely the one. If you want to talk to me, then Fab. It's the same usernames on both. So yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming on. Wife, do you want to do your thing?
I do. Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.